Namaskar. Finally, we have it. We have with us Karthik Gopinath. I apologize one more time for the technical difficulties we had. It was actually my fault. We were trying to improve one thing, and that one thing led to another, to another. To err is human, but to really foul things up, you need a computer. And that's what happened. We now have Karthik back. Karthik, my apologies. Namaskaram and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Vanakkam to all, and it's a pleasure. So it's happy to finally get connected. Yeah, as you rightly pointed out, one small mistake and everything is gone. So from my team.
That's okay. Let's just get going. So, viewers, this hangout was about Karthik's take on what happened in Tamil Nadu and Kerala elections, and we are particularly looking at what is happening in terms of how these elections are fought, what are the issues, and then what sets people's mind and makes them choose a clearly well-known candidate or a better candidate for the constituency, and then override all those logical reasons and go for something else. Okay, all of you can say, it's money. It wasn't just money. There may be more things at work here, and that's what we are going to try and make sense. But before we jump into our topic today, since Karthik is coming on our channel for the first time, Karthik, can you describe us your life journey thus far?
Okay, it's pretty simple. Basically, I was an engineering grad like everybody else out here in South India, and I had no interest in it basically. And then I moved out to civil services preparation. I dedicated 7 to 8 years of my life for the preparation, and I couldn't make it. And I did repent for it, but not anymore. Looking at the looking at the current state of bureaucracy and the imperial hangover that it has, I'm glad I didn't make it. And after that, it was into teaching. I was primarily mentoring people who were preparing for civil services exam, and then came the media, and then of course my own channel. I was also a bit into media and fashion as well. So, but my primary focus has been to bring in political awareness, and in terms of Tamil Nadu politics, it's huge because the awareness is very little, and we've been fooled by dogmas and a lot of wrong literature deliberately flouted here. So I thought if I could dedicate my life for something, it is to bring a change in the area that I am brought up in, and that's pretty much about the journey. That's the journey in a nutshell.
That's wonderful, and I'll tell you my honest take on how I find your channel, Karthik. Viewers, since many of you may not understand Tamil, I'll tell you, I've been following him for the last 20 days now, maybe 25, well, give or take a month. Now, my mom told me one day that you should definitely watch Karthik Gopinath's videos. He said, here's something there. And my mom, by the way, is an octogenarian, and she's just like every average Tamil Nadu voter is tuned into all these channels, and they come up with their own reliability coefficient of where the truth is. You listen to one side, listen to the other side, and then they make up their own mind on where the truth is. But lately, many octogenarians are following people on social media. For example, one of the names she mentioned was you. The other one was Vanathi Srinivasan, whom I will hopefully get also on our channel soon. And the takeaway for me, from your videos, Karthik, is they are crisp. And you get the message across without hurting anybody's feelings, without doing it personal, which has been the hallmark of Tamil Nadu politics. You saw what A. Raja said. It was a needless, thoughtless, crass comment, yet the guy has gotten away with it. They have won. So the point here I'm trying to make here is that people remember, but they only remember what they want to remember. They are willing to forget some things. All this stuff, you're going to make a quick analysis. We are unable to bring you a slideshow where we wanted to share data, but Karthik is a data man also. He's going to give us the numbers and things like that. Karthik, take it away, and I will yield the floor to you now.
Thank you, Shri. So we will start with the main issue in the question: why people so popular, people with so much of good intentions, lot of administrative acumen, administrative experience, cannot make it in the electoral process. Well, there are some people who make it, but I wouldn't attribute all these qualities to them, because the moment I talk about Annamalai's failure, everybody brings in another bureaucrat named Arvind Kejriwal. Basically, he was an IRS guy, so he had nothing to do with the People's Connect. So he somehow got in there and he stays there. So taking the case of Mr. Sreedharan, I'm sure your audience, being global, must have been quite acquainted with his accomplishments. So Lucknow Metro, Kochi Metro,
Delhi.
whichever metro, Delhi Metro, of course, the
Yeah.
chaotic traffic was to a certain extent regulated by his actions and his contribution, and everything was done in time. At the age of 88, can you imagine? Since you mentioned your mom was an octogenarian, so I'm humbled to have octogenarians as followers. So at the age of 88, having done almost everything that he wanted to do, accomplished everything, got Padma Vibhushan, he gets down onto the floor. He gets down onto the political floor. He wants to do something for the public. He wants to do it from Palakkad, and he was given a chance. But then you should understand the level to which the opposition have moved things in order to get him defeated. So it's not that people didn't want him. So we will take this case study of Mr. Sreedharan. All right. So for the first 12 rounds of the counting, he was leading by 4,600 votes. I'll tell you why this happened. So it started with if you want to understand the
Yeah.
Palakkad
Please go
constitution,
ahead.
yeah, if you want to understand the Palakkad constituency, it's very simple. There is a municipality and there are three panchayats. The three panchayats are named as, forget the name, it's Mathur, Kannadi, and the Pirai. So these three panchayats have two LDF, that is, the communists are ruling in two places and the Congress is ruling in one place. And the municipality is held by NDA. So what has happened is, for the first 12 rounds, it was 4,600 lead for Mr. Sreedharan. So people did recognize it in the towns. The promise that he gave was to bring in good water facilities to people of Palakkad, which is actually lacking. And the incumbent MLA, Mr. Shafi, he is from the Congress. So what he has basically done, so I'll tell you with the help of data, what he has basically done is colluded with the communists and made it a point that there are no opposition candidates for him in that particular constituency, and he would do the needful for the nearby constituency, which is the Triphala constituency. So Congress and the communists, they collude and make it a point that Sridharan is lost. So there is ideological trade-off. I mean, whatever the non-existent ideology that Congress has and the communists have, they have traded off to make sure that he has lost. I'll tell you with some examples. Last time, last time the communists had gotten a vote bank, and this time it is down by 8,000 votes, which has gone clearly to Mr. Shafi. And there have been instructions given from the mosques that the votes have to be given only to Mr. Shafi. There have been audio messages that have been sent that you have to vote only for Mr. Shafi. And this is the understanding between the commies and the Congress. And they call each other as staunch opponents, who are actually in the revolving door politics of Kerala. And this time it didn't happen because of such incidents. So basically, Muslims have been given instructions that in this particular case, you have to vote for Mr. Shafi, make him win, because the bigger evil for them is a BJP candidate winning, a strong, successful BJP candidate who can send a message, who can, bring in all the BJP cadres from across the state into one under one banner. That possibility scares the hell out of all these people, and they are ready to trade off to any extent. This is the level to which they've gone. And for the national audience, you must have been sure what Rahul Gandhi is speaking these days. He's saying his vote bank has dropped from 12% to 2% in West Bengal. Out of 91 constituencies they competed, 11 places they did not get the deposit. And still, he's thanking Mamta for defeating BJP. So that is the mindset in which these people are. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not that Mr. Sreedharan did not get the mileage. He did. I'll tell you why. Because in 2016, the vote margin with which he won was around 17,000 votes.
You mean
This
the
time,
Congress candidate?
the Congress candidate, who is already a two-time serving MLA from that Palakkad constituency. And still he has not been able to deal with the water problem. So 2016, he won against Mrs. Shobana at an average of 17,000 votes. And this time it's down to 3,000 votes. So an 88-year-old veteran has tried his best, has given his best for the... He doesn't talk divisive politics. He talks about development. He talks about the problems of the common man. And he has been defeated, but yet they've been close, is what I'm saying. So BJP should take notice of these facts. They should not let it go and say, okay, he will win on his own merits. They have to move all hell and make it a point that he wins. So somewhere they are lacking. So that's one problem with Mr. Sreedharan. There was definitely a steam in the public. Neutral voters were booed towards him. There is no doubt about it. But the opposition is united, which actually points towards the fact that BJP is growing there, and no matter what, they don't want that to happen. So a bit more of effort from BJP side there could have done the trick. Is my
So, viewers, so this is one particular thing that is now actually sweeping almost all of the country, cross voting. I checked with some of my friends in the North India, and they are saying that the cross voting is beginning to take root in North India also. It has been a feature of Kerala politics for eons. In fact, I remember in 2011 or something like that, on a national debate, I was part of that debate. I was shocked when the CPIM, this was because 2016, I remember, how O. Rajagopal won. And,
Okay.
and the CPIM spokesperson was accusing the Congress spokesperson on national television, you didn't live up to your word. You did not cross vote. I'm like, what? You have all these underhanded deals. Why do you want to come and say it in national television? So this is
And the
one.
worst part is, none of the media have covered this. This data is out there in the public, and you can see the drop in the LDF. It's not like the election happened like 4-5 years back. It was in 2020 elections. I'm talking about the 2020 local body elections. So you know how strong these people have their hold. Their hold is very strong, the commies, and they want to do anything in order to defeat BJP here. And in fact, it is a statement by Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan who said, in Nemam they had one seat, BJP had one seat. We will make it a point that the score will be 0 for BJP here. So that is the level to which they are ready to go. The opposition is united. What does this
Yes.
show?
So
Someone
I'm going to allude to something that is tangential but still complementing what we just discussed here, Karthik. Now, viewers, remember the CAA? Why there was vociferous opposition? I'll tell you why. When CAA was enacted, the writing was on the wall for all these lumpens who are importing. I'm not going to sugarcoat any of my words. They are forcibly importing illegals from Rohingyas, from Bangladesh, everybody, as long as this person says, I will give you your voter's card and citizenship, you have to vote the way I tell you to vote. And this has become a thing that is now pandemic in the sense that it has now spread to all of India. It used to be localized. We wrote about it 4-5 years ago when we saw in Jammu that the Rohingya camps sprung up overnight only in those constituencies where the BJP had won by razor thin margins. Okay, so let's get back again. CAA, vociferous opposition. They go and mobilize the entire world, pay money. Rihanna, what the heck does she know about anything? Anyway, so this person starts tweeting about it. She may not have said about CAA, but my point here is that Altu Faltus who have nothing to do with India are being paid big bucks to just come in because they have.
Now you're being against the right to freedom of speech and expression. You
Yes.
can't do that, right? So that is the biggest problem here. People who have no understanding of what is going on here, but have huge following, are being paid or at least being pipped to do this stuff, and people buy that. People support Greta Thunberg. They talk about vaccine equity. She talks about vaccine equity, and commies here and liberals here say that you cannot export the vaccine elsewhere. So what kind of a stand are you having? Basically, if it's good with their cause, they'll go with any celebrity. They don't care about who she, why is she tweeting, and that doesn't bother them at all. So that is a pretty state of affairs. So moving on, I'd like to take the case of Annamalai also.
Yeah, please, let's go to Annamalai. It is even more shocking. Go ahead.
Annamalai, I knew that this would be the case with Annamalai because I was around that place. I was actually, analyzing the ground data, and I found it was very difficult for him to win that particular constituency. So first of all, I should tell you that the choice of constituency was really bad. Aravakurchi, I don't know why he took it, but there are 40,000 minorities staying there. The margin is roughly around 25,000. Okay, and DMK made it a point. So it comes under Karur constituency, and there is a guy called Sendil Balaji who's been given a ministerial post right now under Stalin's administration. He was an erstwhile transport minister under ADMK. Right now, he's been given a ministerial post, which is the electricity minister. I don't know what will be the fate of Tamil Nadu's.
I heard there was a power cut on the day of swearing.
Yeah. Exactly. I was hoping for the same. So it would be symbolic. So DMK made it a point that he was given the seat because he ensured that Annamalai doesn't win. So the person who won from Aravakurchi is a nobody. He has no standing records of having done anything good for the public. But this guy, being a young guy, been in the service, he knows law and order, he knows what administration is, he's done all his homework, and he goes there campaigning. But what is the problem, and why did DMK move all their machinery there? Is the first point is they don't want him to be a challenge to Udaynidhi or probably Invanidhi. That is the biggest thing. They see him as a prospective leader for the future. So they don't want a guy of this sort, of this metal, to be there. So they made it sure that there was no way he was going to win. And I would have shared this to you, but then there is a place called Pallapatti in Aravakurchi constituency. In this booth, it is predominated, that area is predominated by Islamic people. In this booth, there was one particular booth where 571 votes were cast for DMK and one vote was cast for Mr. Annamalai. So I got that data. I'm not able to share it with you right now, but I'm sure you can put it up some other time.
Oh no, it's on Twitter, guys. Anybody, you can, if you do a little bit of research, you can see this thing. Because what is shocking about it is this level of polarization and the extent to which people are willing to, sell their vote. Basically, it is selling their vote. So I think these guys have a way of working the data backwards to find out which person did not vote also. I hope it's not true.
That's more threatening, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they basically get to understand from the polling booth data if this particular household has voted or not. So that is how connected the DMK and ADMK cadres are, the Dravidian cadres are here. So they try to do everything right from the nomination filing. They said you were disqualified because you do not reveal the cases. What were the cases put on him? That during this Corona times he had brought people along with him. All these frivolous cases, all these petty cases. Then they were afraid that the Kongu belt, because of the caste affiliation that he has, the Kongu belt will fall to him, which will become a big mess for DMK. All this fear mongering, they made it a point. They did not let him enter into Pallapatti. The Jamaat had issued order that these people should not go and talk to him. And the first day when he had met the women from the Islamic community, it so happened that they created a ruckus for that. They said that he met those people without them wearing the burqa, and how does it bother him? How does it bother the woman? So that is the level to which these guys are ready to stoop in order to defeat a good candidate. But again, here we should tell the viewers about the mistakes done by Mr. Annamalai. The choice of this constituency was bad. The tactical mistake he did was when the opposition was not letting him, the poll is in him, this got out. This consolidates the minority all the more. He was like, Palla odachirven, which means that literally I'll break your teeth. Okay, that's okay for a police officer, and we want such scoundrels who, who are against democracy to be treated that way. But what it leads to is the further consolidation of the minorities who go in large numbers and make it a point that this guy is defeated. So, and there we have it.
Well, this is just one, constituency. So maybe Aravakurchi didn't think the value of getting an honest, which itself is a rarity, a police officer to come and, be their representative. Because in a different hangout, I was explained that most of the time they look to their MLA for their local problem. Water is not there, drainage supply is not there, food is not coming, electricity is not coming, all sorts of, menial problems. For them, as long as this person can, satisfy those needs, that is happy. But in this particular case, because this is a rank new guy, how do you know? You don't know.
But right? You don't want to give him. And none of the candidates before this have done any good for that, because that particular constituency was held by Mr. Sendil Balaji, who was in the ADMK, then shifted camps to the DMK, and he promised them a number of things. In fact, this is the person who said, the moment 11 o'clock Mr. Stalin takes oath, 11:05 you can take your bullock carts and go do illegal sand mining. None of the environmentalists here want to cry foul about this. They are okay with that, just because it's being done by a guy from DMK. He says it in open mic in front of people that I will let illegal sand mining be done from my constituency. And those are the people uh, the electorate have supported. So that is pretty bad. Also, quickly, I want to add on to another point. Mr. Nataraj from Mylapore. Mylapore is a Hindu-dominated constituency. Except 89 and 96, DMK has never held it. And this guy was recommended to be the chief minister by none other than Markandeya Katju, the ex-Supreme Court judge, who says that he's a guy with utmost moral uprightness. You can't find a guy like him. And he was defeated there. Again, because of tactical mistakes, because the BJP cadre went to a nearby constituency where Kushbu was contesting, and the PMK cadres went to a nearby constituency where a PMK guy was opposing Udayanidhi Stalin, and that fellow had no chance of winning anyways. So they must have contributed to the victory of such people who are honest, upright, professionally competent, but that's the poor fate. But I am not all negative about this, Shri. You see, as we had already spoken, it's not about people losing. There are also ones who won. For example, Mr. M.R. Gandhi. I don't know if the global viewers have an idea about him. In
Please
fact,
go
the
ahead.
Tamil Nadu,
Yeah.
the Tamil Nadu media doesn't want to talk about Annamalai. It did not show that when he was leading, they did not show that aspect of his lead. Instead, when he was lagging behind, everybody was flashing the news. So that is how biased the media is. This guy, Mr. M.R. Gandhi, he does not have a house for himself. He lives in a thatched house. So he's been a member of Sangh from 1967. He contested, lost. There were life attacks on this person, Mr. Gandhi. So if one thing that has happened, which is very good for the BJP, is the election of such personalities grounded who work for the Hindu cause, but anybody from any religion can go approach him and he gets the work done. He has won from a constituency, Nagarkoil, which is heavily communalized. Heavily communalized. The missionary funding in these places is unheard of. The kind of instructions they give in the churches on Sundays and in the mosque on Friday is very much political. But nobody wants to talk about these things. And despite that, a good man is won from BJP. So that is one success for that, which gives us a glimmer of hope that there is scope for such good people to come in. Maybe it will take some more time, one more election, and I think good ones will also get their chances.
Thank you. And so overall, I think candidate selection and perhaps the constituency selection for the candidate, BJP could have done maybe a better job.
No,
Certainly,
they have not done any good job here, is what I feel. Tamil Nadu BJP is unlike the national BJP. There is a lot of work that needs to be done from the south, is my humble opinion. Because you have given ticket to Mrs. Kushbu, who just switched camps. And you have people
many
like.
times. I mean, she has been just about every party.
Yeah, she's been almost every party. She knows almost every leader. I still doubt her, allegiance if she actually is from BJP. That's how doubtful her activities have been. So that is a big mistake. So if you want to come here and if you want to make a mark, you'll have to contest alone. You'll have to take the risk. You can't piggy ride on ADMK because it's going to be bad for both ADMK and for BJP, which is what has happened here.
Now let us also look at the win of Vanathi Srinivasan, who was a local from Coimbatore South. Very hard fought victory because she was up against Kamal Hassan, arguably one of the best actors to have ever graced silver screen in India. But that is the acting part. I'm not saying anything about his political views. Now, in that case also, Vanathi has put in lots of years of hard work there, isn't it?
Absolutely. So talking about Kamal, there's this great guy, Mr. Cho Ramaswamy, who used to say, Kamal is an actor among intellectuals and an intellectual among actors. That's the best way you can put Kamal into two sentences. So, but all said and done, he had put his effort as well. So despite that, the loss was like a huge shock for him. And today it so happened that the party is actually dithering off. People are walking off the party for God knows what reason. They say that Kamal does not have the connect and all. We already said that he has no connect. So despite that, the margin was pretty close. That is what I'm trying to say. The visibility counts here in Tamil Nadu. Back then in MGR days, it was the case, and it has been the same till now. The more visible you are, the people will just go out to the voting booths and think, okay, fine, this guy comes to my mind, and they'll cast a vote. They don't have any moral reasons to vote for that. And despite that, immense groundwork has been done by Madam Vanathi and her team. Also, SP Velumani, who was given in charge of the Coimbatore district, the Kongu region, the Coimbatore belt, where 10 seats have been given. All 10 was won by the NDA alliance. So that favor was also there for Ms. Vanathi. Apart from that, her years of work and the team that worked for her, the national leaders, right from Smriti Irani, everybody came and campaigned for her. All that did the magic. So I'm happy to see a national executive working national executive into the legislative assembly for some meaningful debate for a change. You see.
Absolutely. And now let's take a look at the impact of the AMMK party on the elections. And I think, do you have some numbers to share with us? I think this is important because I will give you my 2 cents after you share the numbers. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so AMMK was touted to be one of the biggest surprises in this particular election. It did not turn out to be a surprise. Everybody expected this to happen. So, just like Subramanian Swamy had already said that Sasikala should be used properly by the ADMK camp to consolidate the Mukulatur votes and the votes in the southern belt. That was not done. Basically, she said that I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not participating here, which weakened the TTV's camp anyways. But what he could successfully do was in 39 constituencies, he secured votes which was higher than the winning margin, and thereby ADMK had lost. And in 10 constituencies, DMK had lost because of this winning margin of, because of this vote share of AMMK. So AMMK put together had an influence roughly in 49 constituencies, in which 39 affected ADMK. So had that gone this way, it would have been a game changer for the entire NDA alliance. So I think somewhere BJP as well as ADMK had failed to capitalize on what was already existent with them. They let it go so easily, and for what political ego and certain other reasons, they could have somehow worked out something to keep things together. Because right now they've lost. Both of them have lost. TTV did not get anything, and neither did Edapadi Panichami. So I think BJP failed there by not being able to liaison between the two and form a favorable deal for the two, which would have helped NDA anyway. So it is pretty bad.
This is one of the unfortunate moments of truth for many politicians cutting across political parties. Many hate Dr. Subramanian Swamy mainly because he is right. Come on now. I mean, don't get your ego, your knickers in a twist just because he is right. 2-3 years ago, he said Sasikala needs to come out of jail. She needs to be the one directing the thing to come. If the party unites behind her, then ADMK has a chance. He said this 2 to 3 years ago when she was still cooling her heels in the jail. And then everybody starts poking fun. What's her? You send her in jail. Now you are saying we should vote for her. This is the kind of thing. This is Vakra Buddhi. That's all I can tell you. Look, if somebody does the crime and then does the time in jail, then basically she's coming out and starting with a clean slate. How many politicians have gone to jail? Where is Mr. Rahul Gandhi? So anyway, go ahead.
But I'd like to disagree with you on that regard. I don't want her to be in active politics, but she could be something of like this ethics committee that BJP had created, where they would guide, what is that called? Margadarshan committee, right?
Right.
Of that sort, where they could have given her more powers just for the consolidation part and given her a role in that. But everybody in Tamil Nadu politics, especially the Mr. Panichami's camp, looks at all these people with a lot of apprehension. They are suspicious about these people because everybody here is power hungry. So they do not want it to be diluted any which ways. So at least Mr. EPS has ADMK for taking right now, because the entire party will rally behind him because of the Congo belt performance. Had it been for her, that could have upset his power equation.
Equilibrium. So correct. Now, one thing is I can agree with you because she could have not contested the elections. It is messaging that the family is united. We are all behind one cause, something like that. That could have been managed better. That's my point. Now
they lost it.
Yeah. Now there is one other element that was supposed to go in favor of the NDA alliance, which was the coming together of Devendra Kula Vellalars. What happened in that case?
But it was not palpable. The amount of votes that could have come that way did come. It did come in many places. But since we talk about Devendra Kula Vellalar, for which of course the NDA had done the needful, there was also a problem of anti-1-year consolidation which had happened. So recently the government had given a reservation of 10.5% for a particular community called the 1 years, which is Understandable, because the demand has been long standing and it has been on for a long while. But the problem is, every other intermediate caste, that is like there are 108 MBCs, they felt deprived of because of that. So in Western belts, they did get the votes that was meant to go to ADMK, but because of this reservation, they lost elsewhere. So anti-1 year consolidation had happened so much so that Devendra Kula Vellalar benefits were offset by it. So that is the biggest problem this time in terms of election, because these were last minute decisions which created a furore in the entire state. Uh,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
finish your thought. I want to add one.
yeah. So one place you gain, the other place you lose. So it's not a zero sum game here. The loss is heavier than the profit here, and hence it becomes a problem for NDA.
This is about psychology more than anything else. And I keep saying this thing about stock market. The amount of joy you get by a 10% rise in the stock price of what you own to the amount of grief you get when it drops by 10% is 2:1. You feel bad, twice as bad as. See, this is the problem. This is psychology, and they try to give this 10.8% reservations, and again, truthfully speaking, viewers, anyone thinking that any particular community is going to benefit from this reservation is sadly mistaken, and I'll tell you why. The government cannot afford to expand anymore, and all these reservations can only be imposed in some areas, and they don't have any more money to expand. In fact, the government will run better if you have half the strength of what you have today, and then the salary bill also will go down. And it doesn't matter which state you take, they are all having super debts, like lakhs of crores to the center. Because it's all sovereign debt, people don't talk much about it, but it doesn't matter which way you go. This is not something that's going to help anyone. However, it does hurt someone. I think that's what happened. So, Karthik, in summation, do you think that Mr. Stalin has what it takes for him to govern this country? I mean, this state. Because I have to look at what he did as a deputy chief minister. What do you recollect of what he did as a deputy chief minister that perhaps gives us an indication that he will do well as the chief minister?
To be absolutely honest, I feel that the task ahead for Mr. Stalin is going to be really tough, especially in the pandemic times, and the kind of promises that he had given. So going back 10 years, I don't think he played any meaningful role. It was pretty much his father doing the thing, and they'd say they had built a lot of flyovers and all. I don't think that is any development politics. There have been strong accusations against him. There have been strong complaints against him. For example, the Anna Nagar Ramesh murder case was brought up. Nobody spoke about all that. So I'm not going to take the past as a benchmark to judge him. But the kind of promises that he had given, the kind of promises is like huge. He says every frontline worker who loses his life in Corona should be given 1 crore. And this was like 4 to 5 months back. So what is he going to do about that? And he wanted 4,000 rupees to be given to every ration card. With the kind of fiscal deficit that we have, I don't think that is even remotely possible. And a lot of promises like being able to, sorry, yeah, a lot of promises like being able to deliver all the tedious things to, something like Zomato, deliver it at home, or streamline the administration, have more vacancies for more people, bloat the bureaucracy more. I don't think any of this is working. I'll tell you why. I'm not saying this out of the hatred that I have for DMK or their disposition. Just in 3 days, I'll tell you a few incidents that have happened. They have broken the boards in Amma canteen just because the name Jayalalitha is there and a photo is there. And they say they've taken swift action and asked them to replace it. They've thrown the food that was meant for giving the poor at subsidized rate. This was done. Then Amma clinic was vandalized. And today a sanitation worker was assaulted by DMK. Land grab cases in the past. And temple land being swindled away and taken away by missionaries. All these things are his baggage in the past. And this political culture is only bound to continue because people like Raja, who have spoken ill of a serving CM's mother, were spared by the party. And then, if the worst part is, people came out to defend him. With this kind of a setup, a party setup, I don't think any of his efforts is going to bear fruits. But at the same time, I would want to support on an individual or whatever capacity I have for fighting the pandemic at this hour, because That is what any opposition or any critic should do. But having said that, I think that tough times are ahead for Mr. Stalin because of the setup that he has, because of the policies that he has, and because of the hypocrisy DMK has.
And I also read here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Karthik, that in the interview that he gave to NDTV, Mr. Prannoy Roy and co, he only
Okay.
uttered two English words that I could think of. One was
Okay.
development, and the other one was corruption. Any question this was put to him, these were his answers. Now, if you think about development, what I'm reading is that now the DMK government is asking for permanent sealing of Sterlite copper plant. They also don't want any port work done in that area, and two other things where they want to completely stop it. I mean, if you stop, where are going to be jobs for people? What are they going to do? And where are you going to find the money? I think the debt that Tamil Nadu owes is 5 lakh 40 crores, if I'm not wrong. And the center cannot give it. Even if DMK was at the center, it can't give. There is nothing to give. So your thoughts on this? And corruption, 34 people cabinet. I mean, with GST, even finance ministry is not needed. It's all, your money is given to you. Your only choices are, do I want to shut down TASMAC or do I want to leave it on? Do I want to shut down Amma or have something like Kalainar tiffin room or something like that, which will be equivalent counterbalance? So these guys also can say that we are catering to the poor. But I mean, there are not many ways that you can do generate a new revenue. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. See, you missed two words. It was like corruption, collection, commission. So it is not just commission and collection are just as important, Sabji. So the point here is, out of the 109 DMK MLAs, out of all the MLAs that have been selected from the DMK, 109 have cases against them, and some of them have serious cases against them. So to expect them to behave in a non-corrupt manner is actually quite difficult. And talking about the financial management and fiscal prudence, they have no clue about it, because they are talking about the same thing, giving off free ration to people, giving off 1,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees to people at an hour when, as you rightly pointed out, the state's debt is roughly around 5 lakh crores, and it is accumulation of a number of activities done in the past which was not giving anything back to the exchequer. So this kind of mindset is what they are going in with. And just imagine, no, more importantly, I want to tell you one thing, Shri. This is not going to happen. The DMK anti-BJP stand that was there when they were in the opposition will not happen when they are ruling, because they are heavily dependent on the center for funds. They are at center's mercy. They cannot find new ways of revenue mobilization except dependence on the task. The task, you see, they have made a change right now. It will be open by 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 to 12 will be the timing. And the logic that they say is drunk and drive raat ko jyada hota hai, so we want to curb that. That is why we are opening up early in the morning. So VDL, as you VDL, as you know, means something good happening. So VDL is with task at 8 o'clock in the morning. There is no question of fiscal prudence being maintained. It is going to bloat the debt of the state government. It is going to add on burden to the center government. And all the positions that they have taken, like for example, you talked about development. You should understand, when they are in the opposition, they would oppose any program. They would oppose even reconstructing Arivalayam, even if it was damaged, saying that it is a corporate stuff. But the point is, the methane program and all the development programs which they oppose right now were signed by them in the past. So right now, the only option that they have is to somehow form the government, not create any ruckus, and try to go with the flow and take center's aid. If they try something new, it is going to result in a big fiasco. They will not have money to spend. As you rightly mentioned, the bureaucracy is already bloated. Okay, the bureaucracy is so bloated that everything that you take off from here is only good. You can't add more people to it. So lean and mean governance, they have to stick to it. Social justice, more reservation. Maratha, Supreme Court has cancelled Maratha reservation right now. All these things they know pretty well, but they will try to tide over the next 5 years by not creating any center-state conflicts and maintain peace, and maintain the status quo. No new measures will be included. No new measures will be included. Is my take on the entire thing.
And viewers and those of you who have families or children who are studying, don't get taken in by the nonsense. They'll say that NEET will be abolished and you don't have to take NEET. No way. NEET is good for you. The other one, what is the Vidyalaya thing that not Ekal, but there was a something else.
Navodaya.
Navodaya. Please enroll your children in Navodaya. The standard is much better. It is the equivalent of Kendriya Vidyalaya. Don't listen to all these nonsensical guys. They don't even know what they're talking most of the time. So anyway, I leave that thing. I can go on a rant on a very quick thing. Karthik, if you're ready, we can take some questions now. We have a fair amount of questions to go over. Here we go. Sachin Sharma wants to know, could one reason also be that BJP did not raise Love Jihad case properly in Kerala? At least Christians would have also voted for BJP if they had faced it, as they are facing it now. Love
No,
Jihad.
BJP on with the Love Jihad cases, but then they must have known their strengths and worked on them, is what I feel. For example, they should have taken 4 to 5 constituencies and worked heavily on that. They should have made the point that, see, all this talk of Love Jihad and all does macro level consolidation. But election is, of course, micromanagement of booths. So you should have focused your energy onto 4 to 5 areas where it is possible for you to win and make a mark, instead of dispersing and spreading yourself so thin amongst the states. It's of no use. So especially in states where you're non-existent, it is better to have a prudent strategy and work on it, because these people are ideologically hardened, especially the Keralites. It is very difficult for inter-party swings. People from CPI will not come to BJP. Very rare cases it happens. Like TMC jumping on to BJP is altogether a different thing, but CPI jumping on is a very difficult thing. Same way Congress, you could have Congress anyway is a sinking ship. You could have done things, but my take on this loss in Kerala is majorly because you did not manage the booths well. You could have put a bit more effort. You were almost close in 3 to 4 constituencies. A bit more of effort would have done it. Love Jihad was taken almost every right wing.
I think our little takeaway for BJP is no two states are the same. Every state has its own flavor, its own electoral dynamics. And unless you have strong leadership at the state level, in fact, if you ask me, L. Murugan's work starts the day after results were announced, because he needs to put in that 5 years, make sure not only his constituency, because he also unfortunately lost, that the entire state, he starts looking at who it is, like the Gandhi that you mentioned. Where can I find the Gandhi for this constituency, for this constituency, this constituency? If they can't find it, how can I create one? How many diamonds are there in the rough that I can polish and present before the populate and make sure that their work gets noticed? And this is hard work. This is not easy. And I can tell you, I've laughed at some of the Tamil channels that talk such nonsense about Mr. Modi, undeserving, and this is all because they are trying to bring alive the saying, a lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth. And what it is people
I'll
don't
give you an
see.
example. Forgive me for interrupting. I'll give you an example. The biggest evil to Hindutva in southern India is a guy named E.V. Ramasamy Nayakar. Okay, so we call him Periyar here. Okay, I don't
Right.
want to call that. So he is called as Ivera in short. Okay, so a lie was peddled for roughly 40 to 50 years that UNESCO had given him Socrates of South Asia award.
Sorry.
Recently, only recently was it debunked. Only recently. Until then, people were proudly claiming the same. And finally, it was given by an organization called UNESCO Mandram, which has its office somewhere in Chennai. So that is the UNESCO award. So look at the level of fake news peddling that is happening here. The media here is heavily dominated by one family. All the channels here, they are actually under the control. Right now, they are saying that the public should cooperate with the government instructions. But before that, they were criticizing the government when was the previous regime. So that is the level to which these people go. So I'm sorry for having interrupted, but that was too good for me to.
No. This is an interesting conversation, and I love everything that you're saying. You are the person on the ground. I'm just setting the stage for you to express your thoughts. So, with your permission, shall we go to questions now? Continue with questions?
Yeah.
So, here we go. Cherry Bilas wants to know, Karthik Anna, I just want to ask a few questions. Is demography the reason for NDA defeat in South? I'll ask you the second question afterwards.
Okay. Demography is partly the reason, but the main thing is not understanding the demography. So I think BJP, for example, Annamalai was brought in as a candidate. I think he would have been given, provided you had got considerable seats, he would have been given a very good position. But the last minute push is not what is going to help us. So demography is definitely a reason, because if it is, as we all know, if it is 70-30 or 60-40 of minority population, they will go in blocks and vote. Hindu consolidation has not happened. I will give you examples. Tirthani, Tiruthendur, Srirangam, and Parni, all these places have so much of religious importance. And it was recently that a guy from Karupar Kootam had, you know, unbelievable slander, unbelievable derogatory statements about Lord Muruga, who is revered so much in South India. He was given legal backing by the DMK. Right now, in Sun TV, he is appearing in a serial. People know that, but the message has not reached the masses. Apart from social media, none of the media talks about it. So even if there is a demography which is actually a problem to us, beyond that, we are not able to consolidate the Hindu voting here, basically because we do not have the media power. Demography is a problem, but it can be beaten, as in the case of Nagarkoil and Mr. M.R. Gandhi.
And the next question he has is, we have certain eligibility criteria to avail EWS quota. Why the same can't be done for SC/ST?
That is a very important question, but the discussion is too long. I'll put it simply. See, if I'm sure you must have been aware of the lobbying that goes on within the bureaucracy, especially the IAS and the IPS. The strongest lobby is the scheduled caste lobby. See, I for one person want the empowerment of the scheduled caste, no matter what, because once they are up, the true Hindutva comes to the fore. But the problem here is, one family of officers, generations for generations, they get the reservation and become officers. So there is no stoppage, because see, if the top category keeps eating away all the vacancies, the really downtrodden people who not been able to get the benefit will never get it. So there must be a stop in terms. There must be a cutoff limit in terms of SC IAS officers. I'm not talking about other cadres. At least the IAS, IPS, IFS officers, which is real empowerment. They become the ruling class. But it so happens that you will never cancel their reservation, and for generations you have officers. So you'll have to put a full stop somewhere. Some government must have the guts to do that and stop this lobby. And why is this not happening? Because the lobby of the officers is so strong, they wouldn't let this happen. So there must be a rationalization of reservation, and some government or organization that has the guts to do it should be able to do it. But it is a very politically, it's very tough.
Vasu asks a good question. Hi from Chennai. What attracts people of Tamil Nadu towards DMK? Is it development or something else?
It's definitely not development. People don't give they don't give anything about development. They know nothing about development. So I have interviewed people from the lower middle class, the middle class, and the high income group. Everything in terms of, I'm just talking about economic sphere. I'm not talking about the social stratification. I've interviewed everybody. People just look for a change, and that's it. That's pretty much about it. And who gives more money in the lower strata? And for higher income groups, the voting percentage in Chennai was very abysmal. It was very low. It was somewhere around 59 to 60% in most cases, which means that people did not come in large numbers and vote. So what will you tell those people? They care about nothing. So there was no anti-incumbency. Otherwise, the voting percentage in Chennai must have been huge. But Chennai was a clear win for DMK, basically because of the work of Tirumavalavan and the work of the Dravidian culture here. Chennai, even during MGR times, was a fort of these people. So it was definitely not development. It could be money, and it could be, it could be the third parties playing the spoil sport. I wouldn't even call ADMK not doing good. The third parties, for example, the AMMK, NTK, and Kamal Hassan, taking roughly around 15 to 16% of the vote, which would have anyways gone to one of the two parties, giving a clear mandate or helping ADMK in win. So it's definitely not development. They don't have a development agenda.
Praveen Kumar wants to know, what is the importance of right-wing media in Tamil Nadu or unbiased media?
So the importance is so much so that there needs to be one as soon as possible. There is no right-wing media in Tamil Nadu. There is no one single channel. So I'll tell you how it works. See, News J, Jaya TV, these are ADMK backed channels. Kalaignar TV, Sun TV, they are DMK based channels. There are certain neutral channels, so-called neutral channels. Pudhiya Thalaimurai, News 7, News 18. They look neutral. But I'll give you an example. Yesterday, when this incident of bashing this Amma canteen happened, Pudhiya Thalaimurai reports that Marma Nabargal, which is people you don't know, have broken this. But then Stalin condemns the attack and suspends those two people. So if it is Marma Nabargal, why would Stalin condemn it? So that is the level to which I'm just giving you an example. That is how media is biased here. So it is high time that the right wingers invest, start media houses, start in big numbers. See, if you really want to get 2026, if you really want to get 2024, if you really want to get the South, you have to have media houses, and you can't be stingy there.
And viewers, this is what gives opportunities for YouTube channels, especially the ones like Karthik Gopinath, which is called Ilaya Bharadam, which is Young India in English, and he has a fair amount of following, and this is because he's able to present facts. Remember that is where the first casualty is. When the media channels start taking sides, that the facts are the first casualty. And I see the excellent work that you've done, Karthik, and may you go from strength to strength. Let's go to the next question. Jayashree Chandrasekharan wants to know, is there any chance that Muslim women are forced to vote for a party in Pallapatti by their families?
You never know. I've not sneaked in. But definitely, see, basically because they've been struggling with one problem of polygamy, and abolition of triple talaq is one big thing that is going to help them in future as well. But the point is, Sri, people are caught unawares. A lot of Muslim women do not know that polygamy and triple talaq, that is instant talaq, has been banned by the government. A lot of people do not know. That is the level of unaware. That is the level of awareness these people have. So they are kept unaware of all these things. So that is why Mr. Annamalai's first attempt was talk to the Muslim women, tell them what the BJP has done. So Rajiv Gandhi did not have the political will or the mettle to do it. We did it, is what he wanted to put across. But that
right? Yeah.
Not reached everybody. That is the problem. Message has not reached everybody, and the fear mongering and scaring the people out of their homes is happening in Jamaats. It's happening inside Muslim communities. They live in communities, right? So that is happening there, and eventually it's like we have to defeat Modi. I don't care who comes. So Modi hatred is one of the main reasons for the defeat of NDA and especially AMMK in Tamil Nadu. They would have been better off without an alliance with BJP, and BJP would have been better off without an alliance with AMMK.
Next question is from Maya. Why is there always a misunderstanding about Hindutva in youngsters these days? And what is the best way to enlighten them?
See, there is a problem with our the right wing politics. Hindutva is portrayed as strictly disciplinarian. It gives no scope for deviation. That is the kind of rhetoric that is being spoken here and there, and a lot of people support it. For example, a few cases are blown up by the media. A few cases of Akhlaq being murdered is being blown up by the media. But recent cases of murder and raping and looting and arsoning in West Bengal is not being blown up. Largely, it has to do with the media. But I also feel that there needs to be a brand of right-wingers who are actually cool for the youth to get into it. It should not always be the conventional, traditional form of presenting the nationalist views. There must be room for a bit of, non-conventional thinking, a bit of different attitude, and that is gradually taking in. People from the Bollywood, people from the Kollywood, like Tamil film industry, are gradually moving towards BJP, which shows that the youth will also follow suit. So it's a matter of time. I'm sure that any right wing across the world had this problem. They had this problem of sticking to conventions, which is not very palatable to the youth. But with time, with proper metamorphosis of the entire thing, I'm sure the youth will also get in with time. It's just a matter of time, is what I feel.
Next question is from V Truth. If we still see parties like DMK winning, does it mean those who think about the well-being of the state and nation have really become a minority?
So we try to answer that question. So this elections and political awareness is not everybody's forte. It's not everybody's forte, and it is the mistake of the defeated side to not have taken the message to the masses, primarily not having media houses and all that. But also, having said that, there have been ups and downs in terms of political awareness across our political history ever since independence. There have been people very actively coming out to vote and take away the government, but at times it so happens that, okay, I'll take a chill pill. I see no difference between the two. So when a viable alternative appears in the forefront, a really viable alternative. I'll give you an example. For example, NTK is a party here in Tamil Nadu. It's not a viable alternative. It is not at all a viable alternative. The leader of the party goes bonkers at times. But at the same time, even at the sight of a distant opportunity of seeing a different regime come into power, a distant opportunity, people are ready for that. So people are willing to go and do the needful, but there needs to be courageous and people friendly campaigning that needs to happen, and rebranding of any party that wants to come into power and not stick to the same Dravidian ideology. People are willing for change. Case in point, Kamal Hassan gets so much of votes, NTK gets third highest voting percentage. So there is scope, but again, rebranding and fighting these huge monsters is a tough task.
And NTK has been around for what, 10 years, 15 years?
Yep. It's been around for quite a while. And in fact, its vote percentage has increased considerably. It was 10.5% in the local elections in 2019. Right now, it is around 8%. The leader claims it to be 12%. And he will claim it to be 99% also. But it is around 8%. Okay. So, but see, despite having 8%, 233 constituencies, only one constituency they had secured deposit. 233 they lost deposit. So it is not a viable. It seems viable. It is not pretty much viable. Even for such a party which is like all around the place, the leader has no discipline. He spits in front of. See, this guy, Mr. Seaman, spits in front of the press. So that is the discipline he has. Despite that, he's given a chance. So if you properly campaign, if you properly package your product and give it to the public, Tamil Nadu public will take it. But matter of time. Start work from now, like you rightly said.
Nitin Vishwa, Tamilian belief in Aryan Dravidian divide, is it out of ignorance or it's because it suits their ideology or convenience?
Part of it is reiteration. It's been said so many times. It's been said so many times that any guy who looks different, who looks a bit brownish or fair, he's called an Aryan in Tamil Nadu. So that's how deep it's been engraved into the psyche of the people, majorly by the Dravidian politics. Again, I'm telling you, all these can be debunked very easily. All you need is debate with these people, but they will not be ready to debate. For example, Mr. Annamalai had called a serving MP, Mr. Sendil Kumar, for a debate. He never turned up. He says this day, that day, and he just escaped. None of them will. What I'm saying is, am I asking too much? Just let me know. Am I asking too much? Why can't we have a presidential style debate between two CM candidates? Is that too much to ask for? So, debating is a culture which is absent here. Sensationalism is a culture which is on the hype here. So the media houses go on talking lies, spreading favor, spreading fake news for like what, generations. So if you want to rectify it, you need a big push. That is a big problem here.
Here's a good question from Shashindra. Shashindra K. Why don't Muslims listen to people like Vellore Ibrahim who speaks for them and the nation?
Okay. Now the problem is Vellore Ibrahim had done door-to-door canvassing for Mr. Annamalai in
Pallapatti.
Arvakurchi constituency. But the problem is, everybody who carries a BJP flag, they will welcome them, they will talk to them, but they will not vote for them. So you will have to understand that you cannot do anything with respect to the Muslim consolidation. You cannot do anything with respect to the Muslim consolidation. If you have to beat it up, you will have to do with the help of a Hindu consolidation. As long as that is not happening, you're not going to win in areas where there are at least 20 to 30% of the population. It is very difficult for you to win. Because the DMK recently, one of the MLAs who was selected, I will also share it in my Facebook media, one of the MLAs who was elected goes to the public and thanks the Islamiyargal, which is the Muslims. He thanks them for voting in large numbers to the DMK. And the DMK will be indebted to them forever. They will do nothing. They will use them only as vote bank. But the fact is, this has been the training given to them for like ages. and they are very sharp. See, in Bihar, Mr. OYC was able to make a difference, right? They learnt a lesson from that, and the entire Jamaat they coordinate and they make it a point that the votes are not wasted. So there is no conscious Indira Gandhi conscientious voting. It's not all available here. What they see is what is the instruction given to me, I am doing that, and thereby my community and me, I am safe. That is the idea that they gave. So it's not at all possible, is what I feel.
Krishna Dutt, why there is so much hatred of Hindi in Tamil Nadu?
That is because in 1965, DMK came to power based on anti-Hindi agitation. They needed, see, it's what Hitler and Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels had discussed. If you really want to be on the top, if you really want to ensure your victory, create a common enemy. And what common enemy could they create? The only common enemy they could create is based on linguistic aspirations. They said these guys will take your power off, these guys will do everything, and Hindi should not be learned. But the worst part is schools that are run by DMK, Sunshine School, teaches 3 languages. Hindi is one among them. They charge a bombshell for your kids to study there, but they teach Hindi. But they don't want the government school students to have the benefit. That is the worst part, sir. That is the hypocrisy hypocrisy that is prevalent here. And DMK is the main party that is doing that. And just because DMK is doing that, ADMK is not able to bring in the 3 language formula or the Navodaya schools here. What I'm saying is give the opportunity to the kids. Give it to the parents. Let them decide what they want to study. Who are you to say that? But since it's so intermingled with the politics, 1967 they got to power because of that. They always keep that agenda there, agenda in their manifesto and their mindset. So it is very difficult if DMK is in power. Some new regime has to come and open up. See, basically, if I personally feel that the Tamil language is the best, it's most romantic, and it's got so much of a treasure in itself. But how will you converse it and pass it on to the other cultures if you don't want to learn other languages? Hindi teriyadu poda, English teriyadu poda. I'm just wondering what will be the meeting between Mr. Stalin and Mr. Modi will look like on May 29th, which is, I think it's scheduled on May 29th. I don't know which language they will converse in. It's all going.
Yeah, so one takeaway here is, see, remember that Narendra Modi was Gujarati. He knew Gujarati, but he taught himself Hindi, and I'm told he now speaks excellent English. A lot of that happened in the last 7 years when he came to, became the prime minister. So these are all things, your willingness to learn and adapt. That is a quality. Mr. Durai Murugan can say Stalin will become PM. First, let him learn a few languages.
Absolutely.
So the next question. Yeah, go ahead.
Why not Tirukkural in Tamil itself? I was just wondering if during the swearing-in ceremony he would come up with a Tirukkural, talk a bit in Tamil, and then of course take the script that is given to him. But right. I'm just hoping Stalin comes out with Tirukkural because he has promised making Tirukkural as a national book.
Saswat wants to know, why is BJP not able to communicate its achievements to people properly? I think you touched upon this about triple talaq.
Majorly, it is because the Tamil Nadu BJP is not as good as it should be. It is not as good as it should be, and there is a lot of infighting. There is a lot of schisms inside, and there is a lot of camps. This camp doesn't like that camp. And partly for the reason for appointment of Mr. Murugan is because the center wanted to do away with these camps and have somebody who could take care of it. That is partly successful, but it will take time. It's not going to happen in 1 year.
Yeah. Thank you. Next question is, when Tamil Nadu is known for preserving the traditions and culture in South, how come a party whose ideology is inspired by atheism and the Aryan Dravidian theory comes to power? We talked about this before the show about the hypocrisy of DMK.
Yeah, but I'll have to mention it again for the viewers. You see, today it so happened that Madam Durga Stalin, whom I respect greatly, because she's a theist, she believes in God. So she has taken the prasadam from the archagars because the temple is not functioning, went to the house and took the prasadam. And all the ministers in DMK, lot of ministers, okay, they are huge devotees of some god or the other. I know personally some bhattars and some acharyas who do pujas for them. And the best part is these guys are very sincere when it comes to all these practices. They do that religiously. But when it comes to this political rhetoric of theirs, they are okay with Hindu bashing because Hindu bashing is the best means for consolidation of minorities. You back the Hindu bashers, your minority vote will be consolidated. Then, of course, you can flout videos of your ministers going to temples, Jagat Rakshakan wearing a punul, and others going to the temples, Durga Stalin going to the temple, and finally saying we're not Hindu Virodhis. But when consolidation has to happen, they will use DK, that is Dravida Kadagam and Veeramani and so on and so forth, for consolidation. That is the reason why these people are doing these tactics. It is basically because minority pandering, best way is to take up Hindu bashing.
Before we continue with our questions, I had one question to ask you myself. And this came in a different hangout this week where the role of Prashant Kishore, this person told that he's highly overrated. What are your thoughts? Do you think Prashant Kishore was a essential factor in DMK's victory?
In DMK's victory, I have my own thoughts on that. See, all he did was he created a plan. He used the social media to the highest, so much so that we are irritated by hearing that song, Stalin na Varare. So any channel you would open, you'll have so much of this YouTube promotions being done by them. So he had done a good job in terms of the online presence, okay, and in terms of the Twitter and other things, he had done a good job. Also, he made it sure that the candidates that were taken in were okay with the locals. It was not because of some push from Stalin's side or Kanimozhi's side or Sabarishan's side. Those candidates were not taken in. Candidates who had a realistic chance were asked to be put forth as candidates by him. Those are the two things. But of course, a lot of places he's being overrated is my feeling. Basically because, see, the reason for DMK's win is this minority consolidation. This has started 1 year before. I spoke to a High Court judge. He called me. He spoke to me after seeing my programs. And he said, Kana, PK's factor is there. But there is also a lot of minority consolidation that has already started occurring right from 2020. The Jamaats, the Christian missionaries all made it a point that the message had spread clearly that if Modi comes to power, mosques and churches will be shut. So nothing works like fear. So that along with PK's organizing skills, see, it is very difficult for Mr. Stalin to present himself in the best picture. All the adaptations that were done from toe to head, when I say about head, so that was done by him. That personality modification was done by him. But if you consider things in totality, I think, yeah, definitely Mr. Prashant Kishore is overrated. But he is the most prudent political analyst I have seen because he always chooses the winning side.
Not always. I think he lost a few, but
Just one.
but it's a very impressive record. We have to also remember, viewers, remember this. He was instrumental in Modi coming to power in 2014.
I would not agree with that, Shri, because I think that
Chai Pa Charcha was his idea, boss.
That was his idea, but already there was so much of a Modi wave that it added on to it. It added flavor to it. Modi employed him, is what I feel. But here he has grown to a stature where he says, nobody can employ me. I choose whom to work with. So he started from here. Modi gave him a chance. He did well. But then I think he's going to start a federal front right now. Take in Mamta, Stalin, take in Punjab Chief Minister, everybody, and create a viable opposition under his head, and attack Modi. It could be, you never know.
He may be incurring the wrath of who. Anyway, Girish Narayanan wants to know, as a first-time voter, I have noticed that most of the people of my age who are not lefties are swayed by parties like NTK and MNM. What can be done to change the mindset of the youth?
Political education. You need channels that are both entertaining at the same time that give out the right message. What else can you do? Media has to be strong. People don't read newspapers. Attention span is getting shorter. That is why Twitter is a success. 120 words, anything beyond, they are not going to look at it. Short reels are becoming a success. So political education has to be given to these people, and by which I do not mean that you don't have to take the politics to the campus. I mean, have neutral people talking about politics. Call a spade a spade. Don't worry about minority pandering. Just call a spade, and have the guts to do that. Uh, as long as people, as long as people don't come together to do it in the form of an institution, a media company, or a publishing house, it's going to be tough. People will be swayed by such things.
The next question is, now what will happen to the issue of free temples in Tamil Nadu?
What happened to the issue of free temples so far? Nothing happened. And with this kind of a political dispensation, I don't think anything is happening at all. Because see, every time you want to free temples, then you come into schisms within the Hindu community. They say that it's heavily caste oriented. There is social stratification. No people can enter. It will be taken over by the Brahmins and so on and so forth. What about the schisms elsewhere? What about the schisms in other faiths? So are you simply trying to say that there are not even handful of individuals who can manage Hindu temples by being honest and earnest? So it's very difficult. My question is, why is BJP not taking the step? I think everything else should be let, and BJP should go on for this one cause. Free Hindu temples from the clutches of the government. What is secularism? What is secularism here? And it is an open and shut case, and the courts are not ready to take it up. No, Hindu. There are activists from here and there, and in discrete pockets trying to take it up, but there is no unification. I think BJP is doing it deliberately in some way. What else could you think?
Now, Malathi Iyer wants to know, if BJP had stood by itself,
okay,
would they have won?
Done
better.
Certainly, I feel so. See, one thing, if BJP had stood alone, they would have gone for more number of seats, and they could have taken seats which are very conducive for them. They could have taken issues which is very close to their heart. That is freeing Hindu temples. That is stopping the Hindu bashing. That is exposing the Dravidian ideology. That is exposing the political culture that is prevalent here. All that they could have taken up. But now, having gone into the alliance, they had these constraints. They could not actually hit the ruling party. When you don't have the freedom to hit the ruling party, you cannot reach the masses. And even in this case, the four seats that they have won, Nayana Nagendran was a win any case. M.R. Gandhi won because of his own efforts. There was a bit of help from Mr. S.P. Velumani in the case of Vanathi Madam. And in case of C.K. Saraswati Modakuruchi, there was good help from ADMK. But the other two, they won by themselves. So if they had worked on their own, I'm sure they would have been able to cover considerable ground and show a voting percentage based on which the next election could have been fought. So that is one risk they are not ready to take.
Now, I have a philosophical observation, but I'll do that after I post this question. Malathi Iyer also wants to know, if Rajinikanth's entry into politics, if he had also contested, would that have made a difference? Because the vote margin, the win margins were so tight.
Absolutely. I'll sound very biased here because I wanted him to start a party. I wanted him to enter politics, basically because the theme was Anmigarasial, which means a believer's politics. So it was more of spiritual politics. So I wanted that to happen because spirituality is more than religion. Every religion has spirituality. That is the core context of it. So I thought somewhere he was heading to a point where we could do away with all the problems between religions because we are reaching to the core content. But yeah, if he had plunged into it, the equations would have been completely different. Take the case of Kamal Hassan. Kamal Hassan in one constituency was able to reach to that height, despite all the the Hindu bashing that he did. He was able to reach to that extent. But Mr. Rajinikanth, when he tweets, it becomes it becomes a global news. It becomes so viral. So he has a voice which is unheard of. So people talk about his political acumen. People talk about his administrative acumen, knowledge of politics. I'm telling you, he's a very intelligent guy. He listens to everybody. He doesn't talk much, but when he talks something, it makes sense. And that is why even Mr. Modi has so much of respect for him. So him not coming into this particular election is a definite drawback for Tamil Nadu. But at the same time, having said that, I also feel that had it gone the other way, it would have, vanquished all hopes of any alternate front being formed in the future, which is spiritual, which is supporting a nationalistic view. So it's very tough to say right now. Maybe with the benefit of hindsight, I do say that yeah, he should have come. He should have done the needful. But of course, it's his constraints. I don't know.
I have a theory about
In that
this.
case, Mr. Rajnikant is a very emotional thing for me. So I won't give you a.
I have a theory about this. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me. What I hypothesize is during the time 2001 to 2011, I think there was so much of influence of DMK money in movie making that they can at will call up anybody and say, I'm sending you this statement, just issue it or read it or do whatever. Because I am surprised when some people who have a lot of respect for have come out and said things that I never would have expected them to say, because there are other circumstances, other things that are forcing them to say, okay, if I say this thing, okay, I'll get a little bit of respite on my other problems. This is just my opinion. You can differ with me or you can agree with me.
No, certainly. I will definitely not differ with you on that particular front because the cinema industry was controlled by them. Sun Pictures released most of the movies. Then came the Red Giant movies of Udaynidhi and all. So if you had a movie, you had a price, they would pay it and take it. So everything was colonized by them. But at the same time, if you also you should also see they had a lot of programs like Pasa Talaivanukku Pasa Vida and all. The cine industry was so linked to the politics, and the economy behind it was driven by politics. So people, that is why even the movies that are coming out in Tamil Nadu, traditionally, 9 out of 10 movies will have a Dravidian tinge, a tinge of Brahmin bashing, which gets a bit more applause there. So it has been thoughtfully executed by the DMK ever since they understood that Mr. MGR, with the power of media, could do wonders. So it's all planned, and they always want to have it in the grips. And that's why once Mr. Ajit Kumar, you must be knowing, Ajit Kumar had given a statement in front of Mr. Karunanidhi that we are being compelled to come to all these shows. We don't want to come. And it was then Mr. Rajinikanth stood up and had given a standing ovation to him. So all that showed that these people were actually in the clutches. To what extent is all debatable, but yeah, definitely they were in the clutches of these political hooligans.
Next question. Why did Stalin and 10 popular heads go to a church in Anna Nagar for Thanksgiving Mass? Nitya Kalyani Alai is a question here.
You should be surprised if they didn't. After all, the service has been done and it calls for some gratitude. So as I told you, right? So one of the MLA candidate after winning immediately goes to his constituency and thanks the Muslims. Says that it's because of you we won and we'll be grateful to you forever. What else do you want? So it all started back then in 70s when they understood that the swing votes matter a lot. So the minority, if the majority is divided, the minority matters. So if they go into a block, they'll be happy. But that has been captured by DMK and they like it to be that way forever. And it's obvious they go and eat cake, mutton biryani, chicken biryani with leg piece. Sometimes here it becomes a problem if there is no leg piece. And I don't know if you follow the local news. There have been issues where DMK had created a ruckus just because they did not get the required leg piece.
Ananda Gopalan Kidambi wants to know why NDA's victory in Puducherry is not given importance by Tamil state media and opposition.
That's very important because the statements issued here by the political leaders is that BJP can never prosper in South, which is a false statement anyways because Karnataka you have BJP and in Tamil Nadu now you have 4 seats and Pondicherry they have done better than ADMK. A lot of people who say that they won because of ADMK, it's not a complete truth because in Pondicherry the NDA is able to do better than ADMK and the government form will be under their head. So they know that it is going to be a danger to them. And I told you already that the media is under the control of these people. And how do you expect them to say that? See, when elections are lost by DMK, those days Sun TV will be airing programs of how to make idli upma. But when they are thriving, so it will be all about Pasa Talaivanukku, Pasa Vida, Talabadi in Seyalgal, Talabadi in Seyalbadagal and all that built up. So it is a heavily biased media which I don't know will ever be self-regulatory as the media ethics expects them to be.
Well, that brings us to a close of today's hangout. Viewers, I'm sorry I couldn't take all your questions. We have a few left. We will ask them in the next hangout next Thursday. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Also join our membership program. And Karthik, thank you very much. You've made a big impact on our viewership today. I'll share some numbers with you afterwards when I have all the
Okay.
data. But thank you very much, and it's a pleasure having you on our channel.
Thank you, sir. And I should tell you, it is a great pleasure being there in your show, because I've been seeing your show for a long time right now. And all the guests that you have are immensely talented and nationalistic in their approach. So to be able to partake is a huge honor. And hopefully we will keep doing these hangouts. And I didn't expect it to go this long. I think it's almost 1.5 hours.
Yeah,
So
that's
with
that's
the
why I
poor
said now we
start,
should. Yeah.
yeah, because of the technical glitches, I was a bit concerned.
No, no
Then,
worries, no worries. Yeah.
thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much again. Yeah. Bye bye.